Alright. Took a break to rest my voice. But I am on a roll. I want to finish this. Taida, among us, the word maid refers to. Or rather, I can't think of anyone but you. Akane! That's... It's really her. You killed Tamari? No, wait a minute. There must be a misunderstanding. I mean something like this. This is too much. Please, wait a minute, everyone. I have nothing. I didn't do anything. The dying message was written by a person. The Lord does not lie. As long as the dying message refers to the word maid, it has already been revealed. Was it a lie at the beginning of the trial to cover up her crime? No! Taida, tell me with your own words. Are you really the culprit? Me? I'm not the killer! Akane! Why am I the culprit? The dying message may say the word maid, but there's a big X next to it. You guys have only interpreted the maid and didn't interpret the X after that. The X could literally be an X. Doesn't that mean negative? In other words, it means not the maid, so I'm not the culprit. I don't know yet if what Taida said is true, but certainly as she said, we haven't fully decoded the dying message yet. Okay, the X at the end. Well, if you simply look at it, it really looks like it says not the maid, but if the dying message means not the maid, as Taida says, I would rather be more suspicious of Taida. Huh? Why? Don't you think so? Who is the killer? I don't recall seeing messages saying who is not the killer. It seems illogical to write an innocent one in blood by the own victim. Rather, you would think it's not the maid to take yourself off the suspect list. Hey, doesn't that mean the culprit themselves wrote the dying message? That's right. There's no law saying that dying messages are all true. They can show up in many ways. For example, the killer manipulates the dying message to lead an advantage in the trial. Yeah, maid X as it is, meaning the only one who would benefit from writing that is not a maid, would be the maid herself, Taida.
Under the interpretation of the dying messages, this or that, there's no way to avoid the word maid.
Akane, you really are? Is Taida really the culprit? Can we conclude the case like this? But what is this feeling? Is it my heart screaming? I feel like all of this, it feels so contradictory. Is it okay to end up with Taida being the culprit? Can I vote now? It will be painful to do anymore. It'll just be... I just want to end this quickly. Wait! Kodokawa? Obviously, it's true that Taida was suspicious. Clearly the way she acted seems questionable. However, there's a problem yet to be solved. Well, an unsolved problem? As Kodokawa said, it's too soon to end like this. There must be a cause for this unpleasant feeling. Yeah, a secret that hasn't been solved yet. An unsolved problem. I do not know. Well, what's the point? The dying message is also over. What else is there? The secret of the window is over. The procurement problem has also been solved. Wait a minute. Is there anything left remaining as Kodokawa says? Only for murder, you're thinking. But don't you think about cases other than murder?
そうかもしれないよ。
Yeah, right, that's it! Did you find something, Maida? Guys, I think it's still a little bit early to call Taida the culprit. What? What do you mean? You were the one that said the dying message had the word maid. About that, I still can't conclude for sure. Thanks to Kurokawa, I could think of something actually. Right after the incident, do you all remember Hatano's injury? Of course. Now the trial is coming to an end and Hatano's condition is worsening. Get that in order, okay? Why was Hatano injured? Everyone think about it. Why did she get hurt? You saw it. She was hurt by a wire trap in the leg. Think about it. Who installed the wire trap? When does this come into place?
I mean, the killer must have installed it?
That's it. In other words, your opinion is that the suspected killer, meaning Taida, installed the wire trap, right? No, wait a second! I've never installed anything like that! Why would I aim for a Yamitan? That doesn't really mean you can't, though. Wait a minute. Taida installed the wire trap? The wire trap is there, but when was it installed? When was the wire installed? I don't know exactly what's on the wire, but I can guess because I was there when Hatano was injured. Hatano was trying to grab something at the time. The wire was installed along the way to serve as the bait for it. Then the wire must have been installed as soon as the object was placed. And that object wasn't there, at least until that point. So then when was the wire installed? After the investigation began. When the wire was installed, it was probably immediately after starting the investigation. I believe so. Is there a good reason for that opinion? The wire is not visible, so the exact installation time of the wire itself is unknown, but by other elements it can be inferred. Actually, Hatano wasn't just hurt. When she was injured, I know it was right next to them, but Hatano was injured by the wire while approaching to find and investigate some kind of object, and she got caught in the trap. Hatano, do you remember? Perhaps, are you referring to the burnt flashlight? Yeah, there was no such thing in the corner when I found the body with everyone in the power room, but it was there after the investigation started. In other words, the killer used the flashlight as bait to induce someone to get caught in the wire trap? If so... They set the flashlight and installed the wire at the same time immediately after the investigation began is the approximate time to install it. Yeah, it's right after the start of the investigation, right? The wire was installed shortly after the investigation began? Yamaguchi? Strange. This is weird. Weird. Is it not weird? You by the sun yelling. Everyone open your ears and listen. If Taida is the culprit, it means Taida installed the wire right after the investigation started, yes? But... that's impossible. Why, you ask? It's because Taida was with me! You were with Taida? Surely?
That there was a relationship?
Can you stop that? Don't put a joke like that at a time like this! Huh? Does that mean... I know this exactly because Taida was in the same place I was and we didn't do anything. What? How can you say that you didn't do anything so proudly? No, what I mean is, I was going to do some investigation, but I seldom make progress, so... Anyway, that's not what's important. It's Taida's story. I swear to you, Taida has been stuck in one spot since everyone gathered to the power room until the trial announcement came out. What? Is that for real? Apart from anything else, there was only one spot that was inefficient, even if you did a little investigation. I want to hear why. Why didn't you mention this, Taida? No, it was shocking that Kisen-chan died. Did any of us do that? Even so, everyone participated in the investigation, but that is not a reason. It doesn't really matter. What's important than that now? Taida didn't do anything at the time of the investigation, meaning she couldn't install the wire, right? Yeah, that's why I said it's weird.
That Taida is not the killer?
I mean, I've been trying to say that from the very beginning! But what's called a maid? Are we wrong with the interpretation? It's not just that. Taida lied. She's still suspect no matter how we continue. But when that happens, you can't explain the wire trap. What's going on? I think my head will be weird if it gets twisted anymore. Can we stop this already? If you want to die, do it. I won't stop you. It's definitely weird. Apart from being simply contradictory, logically it's playing itself. playing itself separately, as if several incidents seem to be at a gathering event. Why? What's missing? It's as if the contradictions don't stop to conclude that Taira is the culprit, but there doesn't seem to be any different direction in the case. What is the truth of this case? If Taira isn't the culprit, what have we been doing so far for? You mean it was all good for nothing? But if that's the case, then who is the culprit? Who do we vote for? I can't keep going. We keep hitting dead ends. Even in the midst of this, Atano's leg injury must be getting worse. Well, I'll say this. Other than Taira, is there not another suspicious person? Who is that? Kurokawa! What? Why Kurokawa? Well, I don't understand it because of the dying message and the wire install, but Kurokawa suddenly disappeared during the investigation. Isn't she suspicious to anyone? Looking at it, the broadcast announcing the start of the class trial rang, but we gathered quite late and Monokuma brought her. Didn't Kinjo mention this? He said that he had main suspects in mind. If Taira, who's been attracting attention as a high-level suspect, is not the culprit, will the other suspect, Kurokawa, who's the next suspicious person, naturally be her? Wait a second. It is true that Kurokawa was late, but what disappeared during the investigation was investigated by Kurokawa's own way. It was Kurokawa's discovery that the kitchen knife was actually disappeared from the kitchen. But even if they were investigating, still why arrive late? I was curious from the start of the trial. I want to know the reason of being late, even if you're not the culprit. Kurokawa, you're not a killer, right? Please answer us, don't be uneasy. I'm not the culprit. The reason for being late, I can't tell you now. After the trial, I'll tell you why. If it was for a good reason, then isn't there no reason to hide it? Why can't you tell us? The more you hide it, the more suspicious it gets. I'm sorry, but trust me, I'm not the killer. Regardless of the reason, isn't it a little too much to say that Kurokawa is the culprit? She doesn't seem to have anything to do with the dying message. It would have been possible to install the wire, however. No, but there is no other way. This is impossible. She's impossible. It's all possibilities again. Who's the killer then? Even if it's a ghost, it's not impossible. You really are fools without answers. Shouldn't you be aware of this? Huh? What do you mean? What? That's the truth of the case. I told you, didn't I? I said I wouldn't help you people, but once it's a trial with my life at stake, if there's no answer, I'll solve it. So in other words, you are idiots with no answer to the extent that I have to come out like this. Damn it, Mikado is destroying us! Mikado's attitude is sarcastic, but I think she knows something. Mikado may give us a clue about the situation that we cannot overcome alone. When you look at the goals for your reasoning, I can see how hard your brains are. To put it simply, you are fools who try to solve the same solution without thinking of any other method when no other problem was solved. Thank you for your very kind summary description. But you, what do you know yourself? If the same method doesn't work, you should know how to challenge it using a new method. Understood, child? But what do you mean by new method? It means throwing away stereotypes. Oh my, when it's so quiet, you finally open your mouth, Psycho Police. Is it not a problem if the best young police officer in Japan gets slower answers than a professor? It doesn't matter, but I guess it's all a competition for you. Let's just say it's not. There's nothing to be gained from this charade.
There's something sparkling between you two.
But what's that mean? Stereotypes to throw it away? Did you both find out something? I'll apologize first. When the trial happened, I was about to be overthrown by the killer because of the misinterpretation of the case. But I deserved it. I was guessing to some extent, but I didn't think the case would be so twisted. It was twisted? It's natural to say you guys made it public. This case is simple. There's a criminal and that criminal killed the victim. If you tried to solve it, there would be contradictions. Then, wait a minute. So then this isn't a murder case? No, it is a murder. It's clearly malevolent, but do you recall what I mentioned earlier? An ordinary murder case would be difficult to solve if you think of it as a simple step-by-step scenario. While investigating before the trial, I guessed the outline frame, but at that point I couldn't confirm this either. However, As the trial progressed, Taida's reactions and the dying message being solved, the truth was reached. To be precise, the riddle that has been solved so far was one that derived from a clue, but what's the truth about it? To put this simply, the crime is not a case where there's one culprit and one victim being mentioned. What? Not one culprit, not one victim? So you mean there was an accomplice?
But didn't Kuma say that accomplices had no advantage?
No, it's a bit ambiguous to call it an accomplice, but what is certain is that a third party other than the criminal was clearly involved. Third party? Who was it? You, Taida. Taida was the third party? Is that different from a culprit or accomplice? For starters, I like to see it like that. As you guys said, if you're a criminal, you have to install a wire trap, but Taida herself couldn't afford it because of Yamaguchi. You also saw Taida stand still during that time. Then Akane no longer needs to be questioned, right? No, wait a minute. I'm really sorry, but I still don't get it. If Taida isn't the culprit, I don't know why the dying message points to the maid, and she even lied to us. That's why I told you, Taida is a third party in this case. What? It's not a culprit. It's different from an accomplice, but it's obviously a third party who is heavily involved in the case. Maybe she's not even aware of it. The woman's personality is showing her heart on her face. It's proof that the maid lied and wrote the dying message, lying to everyone here. It seems by your facial expressions you don't understand it. Okay, before discussing the real criminal, let's begin with a question about it. Taida isn't just a suspect, she's a third party. I'm not sure what that means. According to your reasoning, at first glance, Akane Taida looks like the culprit. But for Akane Taida to put the wire trap is not possible. There's a contradiction. In fact, it's okay to say that your reasoning in return is the correct answer. A rookie mistake! Someone clean up this mess! In the first place, being a third party, doesn't that mean there's a third person besides the criminal and the victim? 3 or more people were involved in the crime. Is there any evidence to prove this? No, Urahara, wait! There was evidence of 3 people involved in the crime. What would that be? A flashlight, of course. There was one more flashlight. What do you mean there was one more? Atano, that flashlight you were trying to pick up. Oh, that's why Atano injured our leg on the wire. That flashlight, right? But what does it mean when you say there was one more? I think there were some people who haven't seen it. Let me tell you, in the switchium there were 2 broken flashlights. By the way, Maida, other than those 2, the third flashlight... On the day the second floor was opened, everyone saw it while investigating, right? It's a dark place where the switch doesn't light up. Without a flashlight, nothing is visible. And the fact that Tomori died there would have been something to do with the switchium, and in that case, she must have brought a flashlight. So one of the 3 flashlights would have to be the one Tomori brought. And if you don't see anything, murder is not possible. It means that the culprit killed Tomori inside the switchium, and the culprit also took a flashlight, so the second flashlight was brought by the killer.
Huh? Hey, wait a minute. Who's the owner of the flashlight?
That's right, Maida explained it very well. The switchium is not a known place, and there's nothing visible, so naturally you expect to carry a flashlight in order to go there. Even if I went, I would need my flashlight back once I'm done with my business. There is no reason to leave it behind. Wasn't this the aftermath of a struggle between the criminal and Tomori? One moment. Isn't that just by reasoning alone? Unless there's 0% chance that someone forgot it and left it in the past, it wouldn't be clear. No, Urahara, there's evidence that all 3 flashlights are involved in the incident. As Kinjo said, 2 flashlights were broken, and the last one, it was burnt. Correct! It's a flashlight before it got caught in the fire. That's the flashlight that was on the scene. Now you realize? Is there a fool who still doesn't understand? According to your inference, the fact that the case involved 3 people was the adequate basis of this case.
I had no idea.
You must not have known. Probably the killer tried to use Taida.
Really? What does that mean?
We've come this far, so I wonder if it's okay to reveal it. I called Taida a third party, but this doesn't mean that you simply witnessed or helped the killer. What is it then? How Taida was involved in this incident. By the time, everyone might have noticed. Not the culprit, but the executioner. Is it appropriate to call him like this?
Huh?
What's an executor? No way that fits Taida stabbing Tomori. I guess she didn't even do it? That's right. There's a criminal who killed her breath with a critical hit, but it was probably Taida who made Tomori moribund.
What? That's a lie! Taida did... Kenjo, wait a minute.
Hey, don't you know what I'm talking about? Akane Taida, you're also a criminal who committed attempted murder, you bloody bitch.
What?
Now wait a second, what is this so suddenly? Hey, is Taida the executioner? What's wrong, Kobashikawa? You said you couldn't admit that Taida wasn't the culprit? No, rather than being able to admit it, but why did Taida... yeah, I don't know what it means that there's another criminal who inflicted a critical hit, even though she was the executioner in the first place, and I can't believe that Akane did this. If you dishonor Akane without a compelling reason, I cannot forgive you.
That's right, Taida would never do something like that.
It's starting again. Didn't people say that they can't know just by looking at them? All you think Akane Taida is not one to do that. After all, you just don't know enough about her.
But why don't you tell me why when Taida stabbed Tomori to the verge of death?
How did that happen? You've already let that go, didn't you? We let her go? You don't mean... Yes, the evidence that Akane Taida personally injured Kizuna Tomori is exactly what you suspect. A dying message pointing to the maid, Akane Taida's suspicious lie. But why wasn't she the culprit of the direct murder? That was also solved by you. Simple, isn't it? That woman didn't have time to install the wire. What? Everyone looks like you can't understand. Sorry, but besides this, there is evidence that Akane Taida committed a murder attempt.
Well, is there any other evidence?
No, Kenjo was right. There is evidence I can only think of. Maida, even you? Why? I'd love to think that, but as Kenjo says, it's all true. I knew it too. If you look at the scene of the incident, there were traces of others who couldn't exist. That trace was probably left by Taida. According to the images in my memory, there's one definitive clue. Spot selection. I think this is new. Spot selection, images or photos in your memory will begin to appear. Look for the places that contain the answer to the current topic. The method is simple. A photo or picture that fits the current topic appears, aiming point in the place where you can find the answer. Take it and select it with the decision key. However, if you have chosen a place other than the one that gives the correct answer in this case, you will lose speech power and start again. Remember what we discussed earlier about why the killer started the fire?
The fire was used to heat the glass window and break it remotely, and to make us think the killer was inside the switchium and smash the glass to escape, right?
Yeah, and in fact, we almost got caught in that trap and confused our reasoning. Now we were talking about why Taida was involved in the case. Think carefully. If the killer's purpose was to make us think they broke the glass, why is there a blood spot at the entrance?
Bloodstain? At the entrance?
Oh, that's so. A bloodstain like walking out of the switchium. That's evidence from a third party that's different from the criminal's intentions. Was that from a struggle? Maybe it's just Tomori's blood. If Tomori went out of the switchium while bleeding, the power room outside should have been filled with blood spots, don't you think so? Does that mean the blood spot was after coming out of the switchium because it was dark then? There were 2 broken flashlights inside the switchium. If it were broken during a struggle, you wouldn't know that blood would splatter in the dark after you stabbed Tomori. Well, then the blood traces come from Akane?
Wait a minute, after the killer attacked Tomori, they could have set off the fire after walking out towards the entrance without knowing that the blood was on it, right? And this way, there's no room for Taida to intervene. Inori, I'm sorry, but that's also impossible. The one who killed Tomori by killing her definitively probably didn't splash a drop of blood on their body. Yeah, because maybe the real killer used that tool to prevent the blood from bleeding right before they stabbed Tomori. That tool was... Actually, there was this piece of cloth covered in blood in the corner of the switchium. Ugh, bloody! This is... Right, anyone planning a murder must be concerned about the bleeding. Probably, they used it on Tomori without a drop of blood on your own body. If the real culprit uses it and murders Tomori, there's no reason for a blood smear on the entrance. What? Then she really... Are you saying Akane stabbed Tomori? I can't believe it. Why did Tada do that? Tada, no matter what you did in the end, there is a separate real criminal who directly killed Tomori other than you. You're not treated as a real criminal in this trial. If you admit to the crime, you won't be executed. So tell me with your own mouth, did you really do it and why? I'm sorry. Sorry? Are you sorry? Then it's really true? You guys are right. I'm the one. I stabbed Kizuna-chan. What? I'm not particularly sympathetic, but I'm curious. Why did you do that? Kizuna-chan. No, Kizuna Tomori. Because she was a human being who had no choice but to die. What are you talking about? It was Tada herself that most defended Tomori, didn't you? I'm sorry, it's just the case I was found out. I just made an excuse and got scared. That must have been it. Actually, you seem to believe that you were the real culprit. But I want you to believe in this. I never decided to kill and stab Kizuna-chan. What does that mean? You didn't stab with murder intention, but after that remark you seemed to despise Tomori. Well, I'll tell you what happens. Let me give you an explanation. I'm not sure about Mikaru and Urahara know this, but the day after the motives came out, we all went to persuade Kizuna-chan. Actually, Kizuna-chan was also in loneliness, and she tried to convince herself because she knew it deep down. I finally opened my heart to Kizuna-chan, and we hugged, and I finally thought we became friends, truly. But that evening, Kizuna-chan had something to talk about, so she called me to the switchium. I took a flashlight and went there. Kizuna-chan, are you here? Right here, Tada. Kizuna-chan, I know you wanted to talk about something, but why in such a dark place? Yeah, no one's coming here, right? Oh, no, I don't think so. So what did you want to talk about? Yeah, that's right. I'm too scared now. What? Scared? Why? You know the motives given by Monokuma, remember? Our secrets are written in there. It seems like you all threw it away, but I got no clue whose I stumbled upon in the trash. Someone's secret. Do you want to see? First, look at the contents. What is this? Yuki Maeda might actually know the identity of the mastermind? What? Huh? Maeda, is that true? No, I'm just a normal student. You're not lying, right? You aren't actually playing with us while you know about them, do you? Stop it! Now's not the time to approach each other! Yeah, the message is surprising, but it's urgent we hear Tada's testimony. Tada, resume at once. Okay. I can't trust Yu-kun as long as I see that. It's not just that. Knowing the masterminds, they might play with us and try to kill us later. No, Maida wouldn't do that. False. You don't know people just by just looking at them. Itahito-kun did the same. Remember? Then what do you want to do? Even if you tell the others? No, that's not the case. Then... we can kill him with our hands. What? The reason I called you is actually this. Aren't you close to Yu-kun? Wouldn't you be able to take him out? You know what you're talking about? Listen, I have a good idea. If you can only help me, otherwise how can I kill Yu-kun? Without being noticed by someone.
First of all, I brought the preparations. The fuse, lighter, and finally a knife. Once you pick up Yuki-kun and call him somewhere, I'll stab him with the knife. I'm not talking about that! I asked if you were serious. If you kill, you'll die in a trial. That's when the killer is stupidly caught. Did you forget that the only way to get out from here is to murder someone? So first help me. If my murder is successful, I'll help you. What do you think? Let's get out together. Are you crazy? Why do you want to murder? What? Don't you want to get out of here? I want to go out, but doing that at the expense of another's life? That's it then. I'm the only one who wants to go outside more than anyone here. I'm not a human being who will rot in this place. Why should I? A bright future awaits me once I get out of this place. Actually, I got everything ready after those 2 days from the previous class trial. I also brought these tools early today. I'm going to kill this traitor. Wouldn't be less guilty to kill a bad guy, right? You better think and join me here. What are you saying? Being prepared for a murder since the second day? Then you didn't open up to us. Huh? Oh my god, this stupid bitch. Of course I was acting. Do you think I'm gonna go and fall for that crappy event? Alright, so you just do what I tell you to do. Know that you are lucky that I chose you. Please bring Yuki-kun here by tomorrow morning. No, I hate it. Why should I help murder? And I can't believe that Maida-kun is such an evil person. That's obviously Monokuma's lie. Anyway, I'm not going to help you. Kizuna-chan, please wake up and don't do this. If you're with us, I'm sure we can find a way. Oh, okay, you... What? Well, I didn't expect you to cooperate from the start with the murder, because if you didn't, I have to change the target as planned. What are you... Hey, Kizuna-chan! You dodged it! Why are you doing this, Kizuna-chan? Why are you asking? I'm trying to kill you! Kizuna-chan! You already knew I was gonna kill, remember? I can't keep you alive! It's a pity that you can't kill Yuki Maida, but it doesn't matter if you can't get out of here. Yeah, someone save me! Is that true? Somebody tried to kill Akane first? Even so, before the motives came out, she just made up her mind to kill someone, and all the appearances she showed us were an act? Yeah, Kizuna Tamori was that kind of person. So, you felt in danger of your own life and attacked Tamori in self-defense? Oh no, that's not right! Listen, I didn't really intend to stab Tamori in self-defense or any of the sort! Then why did you... Tamori ran to kill you. What happened after that? I noticed that Kizuna-chan was serious and I was too scared. I tried to run for it. Then I was pushed down by Kizuna and fell over. I tried to resist somehow and the flashlights we were holding broke each other. That was when the 2 broken flashlights were broken at the switchium. I couldn't see anything because of the flashlight broken, and I was right next to Kizuna-chan with the knife. I was really scared and tried to resist with my whole body. Honestly, I think it was pure luck that I didn't get hit by the knife. By the way, suddenly Kizuna-chan at one point became really quiet, and that's when I took my chance to get out of the switchium. You got out? Okay, you stabbed Kizuna Tamori while resisting without knowing it. When I looked at my hands in a bright place, I saw a lot of blood. There was a lot of red on my clothes. I got in a panic, didn't look behind me, got out of the power room and ran to the bathroom to wipe the blood. So that's what happened. I was wiping it with water until the smell of blood was washed away, but then the announcement came out. I thought Kizuna-chan was the one whom I stabbed was found, so my vision became light. After that, when I went to the power room, there was a fire for some reason, and the switchium was all messed up. Other than yourself, there was someone else who touched the scene of the crime. Did you think it was you who killed her? That's not it! What happened was... That's how the events are connected. This is all I know about the case. I never meant to stab Kizuna-chan with evil intentions. Whatever the reason, good or bad, once you look at the results, they are Akane Taida stabbed Kizuna Tamori. This is a fact. You cannot change its meaning for whatever reason you might say. But you said I wasn't the culprit! Yes, you just stabbed her, like I said. There's another killer who caused the fire and the final blow. If the trial settles safely, it'll be the real criminal, not you, who's going to be executed. So your sins will be laid aside after the trial is over. Don't think you'll just go over it. Now wait a second, it was still an accident, wasn't it? Besides, if Tomori had been stabbed, then Taida would have died. That's right. Don't be too forceful with them. Taida herself is more distressed than anyone else. I'm sorry. Hey, second to the fact that it was a crime or forced assault, the trial isn't over yet, right? Now that we know the case, we need to find the true culprit, so let's not get excited just yet, children. Fine, let's talk about this later, because the trial is the most important thing now. Akane, don't blame yourself too much, because in the end you survived. For the most part, I think it's the best outcome that Akane lived. Isn't it important to be alive? Ayame-chan. Thank you. Now then, let's organize the case based on Taida's words. Tomori tried to plan a killing a few days ago when she called Taida to the Switchium to plan her crime with them and tried to kill Taida in the process. But her plan failed. She died. That is the whole story of the case. Hey, you stay still. There's a bit of mental ferocity in there. Now then, let's do a little summary. First, the number of people involved in this case are 3. One is the victim, Kizuna Tomori. The next person is a criminal who has not been identified yet. And there's one last, and the last one is a third party, Akane Taida. Tomori, who wanted to leave here as soon as possible, planned a murder before even the motives came out. Her rebellion was just an excuse for Tomori, and for the first time she attempted to make Taida join forces in this crime. If Tomori worked with someone, it would have been easy for her to escape, but Taida refused, as expected. She tried to get rid of Taida, the one who heard her plan, and leave no traces behind. However, the attack missed, and in return it was an accident where the knife ended up stabbing Tomori while tangled up in the dark. Taida was surprised that she stabbed her, and then she ran to the bathroom. When she heard the announcement that the body was found, she went back to the power room, and there were things like the fire that she hadn't even done, so Akane was confused at the time. So then, in the end, the killer made use of Taida's talent and put the blame on her in order to make us vote for her? Yeah, there were 3 people involved, so the case was so complicated as it is. By the way, no matter what happened this far, that this would mean that she's not the culprit of this case, right? But then, who is the real culprit? The true culprit. The true culprit's identity. Inanavi, what is it? Did you figure out something?
No, it's just amazing that Kodakawa is just very active in participating in the conversation.
Are you serious? I have to say, there are already hints about the real culprit. What? Who is it? Really? Who is it? Huh? In general, there is no one who does not have a noticeable alibi other than Taira. In other words, it is possible for anyone to commit the crime. However, there is only one of us who has led all the situations to their advantage. Yes, and very precisely, may I add. Is there someone like that? Who on earth? Surely it's not Taida. There's someone who has taken advantage of the circumstances of the case with too ridiculous timing, that it could be simply a coincidence at first glance. Think about it. The fire was not caused by Taida, then obviously the real culprit set the fire. But don't you think there's something amiss? When you leave a fire, the corpse would need to be burned, and you don't know when it could be found. But Hatano actually found it. Yes, Hatano found it. Well, if that's the case, the wire matters too. Even if you install a wire trap as bait for a burnt flashlight in the corner, there is a possibility that no one will find it and it could end up just there, right? But it didn't because... Huh? Isn't something a little weird? What does the siding between the fire and the wire have in common? If you think about it, you will see the answer. The person who led all situations to their own advantage. The person who led the case so that they could solve it on their own accord. The only person in doubt. They are strong enough to instigate most of the incident. The first time they noticed the fire and the wire trap. No, why? I have to stop thinking about that. The main thing is that they did this job. Okay. If you don't find out the truth, then we all will die.
犯人は君だ。
As Kenjo says, there was only one person, someone who can move the situation to their advantage. That person is you, Hatano. What?
No, what are you?
Maida, did you get tired? The culprit was the one who hurt Hatano's leg. But what if Hatano's the culprit? She was aiming at her own leg? Nonsense! It would be more reliable to say that I'm the one crazy.
That is quite true. Please don't mess with me, Maida-kun. No matter what, Ayame-chan being the culprit is. That's right. Kenjo, don't stand still and say something. Maida seems to be losing it now.
No, that incompetent made a very precise reasoning, don't you agree? The culprit is Ayame Hatano. She must be. I'm not exactly denying it, but I don't have a clear picture. Can you at least clarify why you believe so? It's because of a few reasons Hatano is suspect. The true culprit of this case is not strange to any of us. The reason is because Taida pulled the ceremony of the incident, and the killer was only a light maneuver in the scene. All of our alibis were also in the dark, and there was contradictions no matter who you put as a killer. However, that's why Hatano's behavior was even more unnatural.
What are you talking about?
The killer made an alibi trick by building a fire and finishing Tomori herself, in which Taida couldn't. Until here, everyone understands, right? Then here, who was the first to discover the fire? What do you think?
That was
Hatano?
But there's no way to call someone a culprit with just that!
You shut up, secondhand killer! It's not just that. And even though the corpse was found, the killer installed a wire trap as if aiming at someone. And who was the person who discovered this first? That was also Hatano too. Let's think. At best, she made an alibi trick if someone else found it first. There will be too many dangerous variables. But if you set a fire, you can create the best situation you want. Are you referring to the situation where the criminal himself is putting out the fire with other people? That's right, because the original purpose of the killer's fire was to break the glass and heat it to make someone think that a person escaped. If the killer was with other people in that situation, they would have their own alibi. Well, it's a crappy trick, so I didn't even doubt it from the beginning. In addition, Hatano would have had enough time to install the wire. Listening to Tada's story, Tomori brought all the tools, so you can use them in the arms of the dead Tomori.
No, but Ayame-chan... Well, there must be something wrong with that. I mean, it could be a coincidence. Hatano was the culprit, just like that?
Why is the person who was picked up being silent, but the others are noisy? Hey, why are you being quiet? Are you exercising your right to remain silent, or you think this is a joke? It's just that it's so absurd that you left me speechless. I'm still standing here, and I'm being treated as a criminal.
I mean, this isn't funny, Ayame-chan. You can't be the culprit.
Oh, anything to object to then? Of course, you don't seem to realize it yet. I'll tell you why I can't be the killer. Why can't you be the culprit? Okay, it looks like you guys are missing one thing in particular. Tomori's time of death. Do you remember it? Time of death? Was it not specified in the Monokuma file?
Ah, correct. 9:30 p.m. It's at around that time, right?
Huh? Isn't that weird? Yeah, around 9:30 p.m. I was putting the fire with Kenjo and the others. Accurately, that's true.
So what happened?
Tomori might have told someone to meet at 9:30 p.m. and she was stabbed in surprise.
それは違うよ。
Atano, is that really so? What? Is this your opinion, Atano? Because the time of death is 9:30 p.m., the culprit killed Tomori by stabbing Tomori at 9:30 p.m.? Of course, Tomori's death is a stabbed neck as a reminder. It must have been instant death at the moment. But that's not the case. Huh? Even if you argue that Atano's words are true at first glance after putting some consideration to the circumstances, at that time the killer was not already inside the switchium. Maida's right. You have no choice but to. This is a problem you solved earlier, right? From the time her vial started to ignite, Tomori must have been stabbed by her knife. Yeah, otherwise the alibi trick of breaking a window remotely would be meaningless. But then, what happened to Tomori's time of death? No matter how much you think about Tomori's death at 9:30 p.m., it makes no sense. Everyone listen carefully. From here on out, the reasoning behind this is a little mixed, meaning perhaps Tomori, before Atano discovered the fire, may have been already around 9 o'clock with a knife on her neck. What? Super grotesque! That's far-fetched, Maida. Are you really thinking about it? Are you able to prove that a human can live for 30 minutes with a throat pierced? I don't really believe it either, but I'm not saying this for no reason. There is evidence that Tomori survived that long. The first thing I came to think of this was because of Inori. Thanks a lot. Me? That was when Inori was investigating, wasn't it? I remember what you said to me after examining Tomori's body. What should I say? It's a terrible amount of bleeding. Humans die of excessive bleeding when about 1/3 of the blood volume flows out, but this is not about 1/3, as you can see. It's amazing that even this amount of blood came out. The wound on the neck is definitely fatal, but it should have coagulated to some extent, and the amount of bleeding should have gradually decreased after the heart stops beating. That means, are you saying something else produced the mass bleeding? No, I cannot confirm this with my own opinion. It is rare, but if your blood pressure is strong, then the amount of bleeding increases. That much I know for sure. To put it simply, there are individual differences. Well, having a lot of bleeding in here means it took quite a while before death. Thanks to this, Tomori must have died in very terrible pain. Think about it. At around 9:30, Tomori just had a stab by a knife on her neck. If she died when we found it, the blood would not have been spread out. Of course, when we discovered it, there was still a little bleeding, but most of this started to harden, and it is unnatural to say that such a deep liquid had been flowing after 9:30. That makes sense, but Maida, did you forget? Tomori's wound is not just the neck. Could it have flowed out from a stomach wound? Of course, it's possible, but there's another proof that says she's been alive for a long time after being stabbed by the neck. If Tomori died in a blow as soon as her throat was pierced, there was a sign that should never be there. Because Tomori knew who the real killer was, who killed them other than Taida, such a marker was written by them. Another proof that Tomori was alive is the dying message modification. The reason is because of the dying message. Dying message? Didn't that story end earlier? Pointing to the maid word? Yes, but when I came back to it, I could see something I didn't see before. There was a big X after the word maid. That meaning is correct, as we guessed before, not the maid. Come to think of it, was it written by Tomori? I thought Taida wrote it as a self-act. It was the reason we found the dying message. I mentioned this before, but after seeing the blood, I just went to the bathroom right away. I couldn't afford to think about that. Yeah, it's not Taida. It's likely the former idea. Tomori wrote the word maid in her own blood to let us know. If that's the case, why is there an X next to it? It wasn't the criminal's own doing, but the reason the victim herself adds an X and writes not the maid? Ah, I see. She tried to correct the dying message as she wrote maid because there was another person who stabbed her neck while she was writing the letters. Yes, if Tomori died immediately as soon as her throat was cut, there wouldn't be a correction of the dying message, as she would have been left out of strength and muster. But even after being stabbed in the neck, her will still was living as much as being able to correct the message with all of her strength, while holding a knife on her throat. Ugh. How Tomori had a cut throat and was alive, that much I don't know. But the things I said now prove that Tomori was still alive under these conditions. Ugh. Therefore, even if Tomori's time of death was 9:30 p.m., there's no evidence that you can say that you are incapable of committing this crime. It can't be. This is a lie. Ayame-chan? Really? This is such a ridiculous story about being alive with a stabbed neck. Ayame-chan, please say something. It's hard to believe, but humans are creatures that sometimes achieve phenomena beyond. It happens sometimes, even in terror scenes. Nothing strange at all. What? Then, Atano, are you really the culprit? I don't know why Atano did this. If my reasoning was wrong, it would be really weird, but there are many situations. The more I think Atano is the culprit, the more it fits. Atano, let me hear it from your own voice. The truth. Wait! I can't tolerate that Atano is the culprit! It's unacceptable! Inori, I know it's hard to believe. I can't believe it either. So if you look at Atano's actions, you can only say that it's so suspicious that everything goes in her favor. She's not suspicious. There's a reason it wasn't suspicious. I'll let you know why Atano was not the culprit. Do you have any idea? Atano's leg was hurt by the true killer. But if Atano is the culprit, are you saying she even aimed for her own leg? The wire worked for the culprit who aimed at a random person. Atano was unfortunately caught.
その言葉決して見せる
Inori, I'm sorry, but there is another evidence that Atano is the culprit. Inori's argument is clear. The culprit wouldn't hurt themselves, right? Of course, isn't it? If you're the killer, you're not supposed to aim for yourself. What if it was calculated to induce that thought? What? What are you talking about, Maida? Surely you don't mean... If you're a criminal, you can never hurt yourself. What if you're doing a self-play to deliberately draw out that thought? Otherwise, there's no gain for a killer to install the wire. They ended up murdering and finished the process, but after that, when they installed the wire and aimed at someone, it only adds suspicion. There's no benefit from it for the killer. Maybe there was a reason to be put there, isn't there? That's right, I'm sure there is. That's why Ayame-chan is not the culprit and... It's not the only thing. Even if the killer had some reason, they installed wires to target someone. Even so, how exactly do you intend to cut the leg tendon? Our stride length and calf size are all different. Hey, cutting the tendon may not have been the purpose. Ayame-chan suffered a fatal injury because of bad luck. If that's the case, I wouldn't install the wire. You don't need to use wires while holding at risk your future. I was aiming at Ayame-chan from the start, so I installed the wire exactly in the position of Ayame-chan's tendon. How do you know that? It is difficult to know the position of a tendon without prior knowledge, but if you install it while calculating the trap to trip over... The only one of us who has that knowledge is a surgeon, Inori. Her own legs at the same time, who knows more about muscles of athletes than Atano herself. She can't be. Inori, Atano was never caught in a trap because of bad luck. Because she was caught in a trap she installed, she was able to produce such a perfect tendon cutting accident. Ooh, that was pretty good. It's really her. Why did Atano... Well, I'm the one who saw Atano's wounds. I can't believe that she made a wound so full of evil intention. Ayame-chan can't be the culprit. I'd rather be the culprit, even if I'm executed only for Ayame-chan. I can't believe it either. I wish it was all lies. I wish it was all dreams. I wish my reasoning had been turned into a mess and wake up from this nightmare. Is this how everything ends up? You can see it like that. Overall, I have the same opinion as Maida, but I want to hear at least the confession from her mouth, because I have to make sure. Well, it's too late to argue at this point. Ayame Atano, can I take your vote of silence as your affirmation of your crime and end this already? Wait, not Ayame-chan! It can't be her! After all, it was me who stabbed Tomori. I'm the one who gets executed. I'd rather do that. Ayami-chan is innocent.
Akane doesn't have to be executed.
Ayami-chan.
And, of course, not me either.
Ayami-chan.
Going to trial last act, huh? It's not that. I just want to survive with Akane and leave this place. That's it. Your crime is already logical and there's nothing wrong. Do you think force will work? I'm not convinced. If I'm the culprit, you haven't proved it without a doubt yet. Isn't a trial supposed to be won after you convince the criminal to admit their defeat? You fool. What are you going to do? Does anyone know any evidence to satisfy this killer who talks like that? It doesn't matter if I tell you, but wouldn't it be less fun? What a slacker! It's a trial, and you have to take it seriously, I tell you! It's all over anyway. I have to play around while watching this futile struggle. But there's no mystery to solve anymore. What are you planning to do now? Even if you say that, Ayami-chan's words assume what if. Ayami-chan is not saying they're the culprits. Nevertheless, it's hard. Okay, then let's reorganize the case from the beginning. Then we may notice if something was missed. Let's go ahead. Go? Where are we going? Stay still, you crazy big guy! One more. One more. The definitive proof to convince Atano I think there is something left. If Atano's convinced by saying this, if she's convinced, how should I react? Atano's the culprit. Should I just accept that? Even so, I have no choice but to do it as long as I've come to this point. And then show them the proof of a crime. Is shift key reloading? Yes. I'm not the killer. Think again, Maida. Give up already. Is that all? Convince me. Can't admit it. You can't hurt yourself without being crazy. Is there any evidence? I can't read it in time. Ah, great, there goes all my water. First, I want to ask Inori just to be sure. To me? Of course, where did Tatano say she was injured? Her thigh. More precisely, left side wide leg laceration caused by hamstring injury, although... Hey, Maida, why are you asking this for all of a sudden while dealing with me? Are you giving up after all? Inori, that hamstring refers to a muscle that is important in keeping the leg straight, right? Where exactly is the location of that muscle? Right, it's one of the 3 places that connects the hip with the leg. To put it simply, it is a muscle that is widely distributed in the back of the leg. That's it, but what is this explanation for? Hey, don't talk about anything that doesn't matter, Maida. Since Ayami-chan is innocent, there's no more room for refutation anymore. No, this is important. Very important. In fact, Inori's words just had a decisive clue that Atano was the culprit. Everyone heard what Inori said, right? Atano's injury is on the back muscle of her left thigh? Yeah, the back. But then why did Atano go forward to pick up a flashlight and the back of the thigh end up hurt? What? Oh, it's true. I only cared that Atano was hurt and I didn't think it was suspicious, but it's weird when you think about it. She stumbled forward, but she got hurt on the back of her leg. That's... Even if I fall back, my nose breaks, but I guess this doesn't matter now. I can't think of any other reason but one. Hatano, from the very beginning, on her own volition, she was caught deliberately in the trap to inflict a wound as fatal as possible. My god! Then it means it was entirely self-inflicted? Really? I don't know why you did that, but it may have been to pretend to be a victim and to be less suspicious, is my guess. Yeah, no, there's gotta be a mistake. Hatano? I wish I was lying. Why, this is a choice. If you want to get out of the game, then just lie. Why don't we make a conclusion now? I wasted enough time and I'm getting tired of various factors, such as the vitality of a cockroach, of Akane Taida and Kizuna Tomori, although I believe it's all over now. No! Something is wrong! Miyami-chan wouldn't do this! I mean that! Miyami-chan was never the type to kill! The person who's driven as a criminal is still there. Why are you upset? You just stay put. Taida, it's really hard to accept, but we have to accept the conclusions we've drawn, otherwise nothing will end, and nothing will begin. Now then, finally, let's do a final summary of all the events thus far, so that everyone can accept the answers we have presented. So everyone can choose. Let's see, Taida came to the switch team at someone's request. Taida was in a state of panic when she saw blood in her hands. Culprit blocked a large amount of blood from dripping like a piece of cloth that covers her body. In order to make it as if there was a fire, the culprit installed a fuse line and set it there. People who discovered the fire put it off. Even the culprit was also involved. The culprit deliberately tripped over a wire trap they installed. It also left injuries so severe that they could not use their leg for the rest of their lives.
これが事件の全部だよ。
The start of this case begins after the first trial ends and the second floor opens. It was a late night on the second day after she got out. At this point, there was someone who stopped by the antique shop for a purpose. She got some tools from the antique shop. The tools they brought this time were the fuse, lighter, flashlight. Surprisingly, this person's identity was Tomori, who was also the victim of this incident. Now we know, but Tomori had been planning the murder this time. Yeah, even before we shared our motives. All the tools she picked up earlier were tools that Tomori had procured in advance for use in a murder. As a result, she died, and the real culprit of this case was the one who used the tools that she had prepared. However, on the morning of the third day, Otori, who stopped by the antique shop every time, must have noticed that some items have already been missing. Sadly, he didn't tell us because we thought it was a simple mistake and would have created confusion. So without anyone knowing, Tomori's murder plan proceeded slowly, and the Monokuma gave us the motive. As everyone knows, this motive was a note with our secrets, but it was a joke that nobody cared about. But only Tomori was different. Tomori thought she could use this motivational note, so she decided to add a step to her original plan. That's right, me. It was an operation to use the secret note of Yuki Maeda to capture Taida and join forces. Tomori told Taida to come to the switch team alone, and Taida decided to go to that place without any doubt. Taida may seem a little petty, but in fact she wasn't actually swayed. Tomori expected this to happen, and after the second day onwards, by acting weak, she wanted to weaken our boundaries. The appearance of being lonely, the appearance of hesitation, the appearance of accepting us with tears. It was only a fake scene to kill even a little more smoothly. That's the true nature of Kizuna Tomori. We were all fooled by Tomori. Taida, at the time, she wasn't wary of Tomori at all, so she went to the Dark Switchium. There, Tomori showed Taida a secret note and revealed a plan to kill me. Taida said that Tomori picked up a secret note that someone discarded from the trash can. It was written like this: Yuki Maeda may actually know the identity of the mastermind. Of course, this is not true, because I don't know who the mastermind is. But in order to kill me with that pretext, she needed Taida's help. Tomori tried to get Taida out like that. But Taida didn't follow Tomori's words. No matter what, murder shouldn't be done by anyone. When things didn't work out as intended, Tomori gradually began to reveal her nature. Once Taida refused, she couldn't let Taida leave, the one who had heard the murder plan. So instead, Tomori changed the target. The one who she expected to refuse her was decided to be killed in front of her. Tomori ran into Taida without warning, but luckily Taida avoided the first strike. Taida panicked by Tomori's sudden attack. Taida tried to run away, but she was pushed by Tomori and fell. Then she tried to resist Tomori, swinging a knife right in front of her nose. In the process, the flashlight that Taida and Tomori had were broken by a struggle, and the Switchium, which lost its only light. They were struggling in the deep darkness. Several minutes continued during this fierce encounter, but at some point the struggle suddenly ended. I don't know why Tomori became quiet, but Taida, who was in danger of her life, decided to leave the Switchium because she wanted to get out of this situation. The first thing that Taida found out when she got out of the Dark Switchium in a bright spot was the intense color of blood. Taida only saw the blood on her body. Of course, it wasn't her own blood, and instinctively realized that she had stabbed Tomori in the middle of the struggle without even knowing herself. Taida, who was shocked in fear and horror in her head, went to the bathroom. She thought about washing the blood quickly from her. But looking at Taida like this, the culprit perhaps found out what she had done. It is not clear whether or not they saw Taida in person, but the killer must have found Tomori within that short time after Taida left the power room. If someone other than the culprit in this case discovered Tomori, they might have saved Tomori by calling Inori, but the culprit in this case didn't have that thought in mind at all. In any case, the culprit who noticed the situation in the Switchium must have found Tomori in a dying state caused by Taida. Tomori tried to target Taida, but she was forced to act as she did not die immediately. The reason for this can be found in the dying message she wrote. Tomori, realizing that she was going to die, wrote on the floor with her own blood to let us know the identity of the killer who stabbed her. Maid, in other words, to refer to the ultimate maid student Taida. The thought that passed by the killer's mind so far was not thinking of telling everyone to save Tomori. The thought of killing Tomori was that she couldn't breathe just so that they would blame the wrong person. For them, the killer committed a terrible act that was hard to think of as a human being. In order to give a certain final blow, they first pulled out a knife stuck in Tomori's stomach. It was already cruel enough to do this, however. They aimed the knife again at Tomori, just to put it back on her neck. In the process, blood spurted like a fountain, but the killer was wearing a piece of cloth about the size that could cover them, preventing the blood from splattering them. In contrast to Taida, who stabbed Tomori in an accident and unintentionally, you can see that it was an extremely premeditated crime. That's how Tomori lost the strength to live. Tomori thought about killing, of course, and even tried to kill Taida. Still, did she have to die so badly? Either way, the culprit who succeeded in killing Tomori through a fatal wound now is starting a backup operation. First, the killer installed a fuse, drawing a line around the walls of the switchium. I don't know where Tomori originally intended to use it, but they used the tools Tomori had. In the end, since Tomori prepared the tools, the killer themselves couldn't be suspected of this act. In actuality, we had a pretty hard time figuring out who brought the tools because of this. The fuse was installed mainly on the glass window as to not burn equipment as much as possible, and then lit it with a lighter. The lighter was originally brought by Tomori, and the reason the glass was made to break automatically was because when the temperature inside the switching becomes hot after a certain period of time, using the temperature difference between indoors and outdoors. While the criminal themselves was with the others, if they heard the cracking sound, as long as they made them think someone inside the switchium broke the glass, the killer had the perfect alibi. This was the unusual structure of the switchium, and the glass window was cleared. It was possible because of the characteristics of the room, but this trick wasn't that meticulous. No one noticed the fire when the fire was being made. It was a futile trick. So the killer put the plan into action than anyone else. After completing the installation of the fuse, the criminal reported the fact of the fire with a loud voice as if they were the fire discoverer. Some of the people heard this sound, came to the front of the switchium as the culprit intended. Those who heard the killer's voice at the time were Kinjo, Mikado, and Urahara. Those three people. At this point, three people who had not yet known that a murder had occurred decided to extinguish the fire first without even dreaming that they were with the killer. Even the killer came with a fire extinguisher from the hallway and started to extinguish the flames. But then, to us, to the killer, to anyone, something unimaginable happened. Tomori, who must have had her throat pierced with a kitchen knife, was still alive. It's strange enough to say that it's a contradiction when you think about it in general, but Tomori, the victim, was holding on to the thread-like lifeline. And Tomori used all of her last strength. She corrected the dying message that wrote "made" with a large X next to it. In other words, it was telling us this, not the maid. I would have liked the killer's name instead, but just an X with a throat stabbed. It was already an incredible feat to do. After correcting the dying message, Tomori's life was gone, bleeding because her heart was beating. Until then, the amount of blood increased more than that of an ordinary person, and thanks to that, we could prove Tomori was still alive. Of course, that would have been fatal for the killer, yes. Originally, only looking at the words "made" put Taida in doubt. She could have done it, but because the X was left remaining for no reason, the elaborate plan was doomed to fail. Tomori, even though she tried to kill and she couldn't be forgiven, she acted. At the end of the day, she was trying to tell us the correct answer with all of her strength. And the situation goes back to the power room. When the fire was put off and the setup was almost completely staged, suddenly hearing the sound of glass breaking inside the switchium. This was done in the best conditions intended by the killer. Thanks to this, everyone thought someone inside the switchium broke the glass. Everything was the way the killer wanted. The killer who was on the scene at the time, I would imagine they had a smile of satisfaction. The three of them, except Urahara, who went to watch the entrance to check the sound, went inside the switchium. In there, saw Tomori's body. At that point, the body discovery announcement rang. The others who heard the body discovery announcement arrived one by one. Everyone gathered in the power room. Perhaps Taida, who was in the position of the third party at this time, was most surprised because Taida did not know the existence of the criminal. She thought she was the culprit, and yet a fire incident happened that Taida herself did not know. When we received the Monokuma file and started investigating, the killer started the last act. First, the killer put the third flashlight they used on the floor. The flashlight was also in a state of charcoal because it was caught in the fire. The reason why is because they threw something that catches our eyes on the floor in order to create a certain situation. The killer installed a sharp wire on the way of the flashlight, and she talked as if she had found a flashlight and voluntarily walked to pick it up. Yes, even though she knows they have a sharp wire installed. Here, the killer deliberately gets caught in a wire trap and cut their own leg. It was also precisely aimed at cutting the back tendon. I didn't even think at the time that the killer was going to cripple their own leg, although it was the culprit's intention to make us think so. One mistake of the killer here was that the rear tendon was cut despite walking forward, but I didn't even think about it because a person who saw an injured one at the time wouldn't think that. It must have been the culprit's idea whose purpose was to get out of here. The culprit even gave up one leg of themselves and showed a look of being a victim in all this. Thanks to it, we almost got hooked into thinking, would you cut your own leg? While staring at us, the killer would have been laughing inside. In this case, there was 3 people, including the killer, Tomori, and Taida. But also, most of the suspicions went to Taida, so the identity of the killer was ambiguous. However, as a result of matching Taida's honest statements with various situations, we were able to uncover the identity of the killer. The criminal who tried to hide their identity by throwing away their leg. The perpetrator who committed such a terrible thing to Tomori. The identity of the culprit who was smiling the smile of deceit, watching our actions behind the scenes. It's no one else other than you, Ayame Hatano. How about it, Hatano? If you have anything to object to, please do. No, wait a minute! Something's wrong! It's not like this! Really? What's not it? It's all decided. Shouldn't we see the end now? No, it's not over! It can't be over! But even if everything is correct and there's evidence, I can't convince myself. Hatano is the killer who murdered Tomori that way. Darn it, Hatano! Damn it. It's all over then. No! Ayame-chan, please! Please tell them they're wrong! No! Oh my gosh! I probably should not have tried to do 3 videos in one day. Sorry. Oh, what? Are you done? Oh, what the hell? You guys took so long that I was asleep at the middle of it. No, I never slept. Mr. Monokuma, did you sleep? Oh, no doubt. Okay, well, anyways, you guys seem to have come to your own conclusions, so it's okay to go into voting time soon? Now then, you guys, vote with the switch in front of your hands. As I said last time, we do not accept invalid votes, so press carefully. As a result of the voting, who will become the blackened? And the answer will be the correct answer or the wrong one. Now, what will happen? That's amazing! You're correct! Kizuna Tomori was terribly killed, like that, by the ruthless blackened. Which was Ayame Hatano. That's the answer. The answer? Did we do it? Did we get the culprit? Why is it the correct answer? I'm not happy to guess this. Damn it. Oh, by the way, the vote wasn't unanimous. Miss Taida, no matter how much you want it, voting on yourself, you don't want a suicide, okay? Who would believe what you're saying? I won't admit.
It's a big deal, so be careful next time. Anyway, whatever you say, there's only one truth, but I said it right. I don't lie when it comes to class trials. Is this real? Is Atano really the killer? Of course she is! I guarantee this! You guys said the answer you came up with at the end, right? Denying this is nothing more than escape from reality. It's a lie, right? Ayame-chan? Only the judge was talking. Everyone couldn't even breathe, because the result of the trial was so terrible. Miss Taida played the role of accomplice, so the case was extremely extreme, but it was also because the incident happened late at night. Why? I ask why? Why did such a girl like you kill her? You watch your mouth, Kochibara-kun! This can't be true! How was Ayame-chan a killer? We want to believe that, but... Stop it, Akane. Any more than this, and it's only making it worse. I can't hide it anymore. What are you talking about, Ayame-chan? You can't hide it? Oh, if you say it like that, it makes you look like a culprit, you know? I'm sorry. You're sorry? Why are you apologizing? Why? Why? Somebody was killed by me. What? Yeah, well, you don't have to make another announcement, because Monokuma already confirmed it. Why did you... Did she have to kill, even going as far as breaking your own leg? That's right. If the answer we came up with is correct, doesn't that mean we all said our reason it was correct? We were asking to end the trial early so that we could heal your leg as soon as possible. If you're the killer, it doesn't make sense. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. I can't believe this. Yeah, in the end you were also a murderer. It's surprising, but the word unexpected doesn't apply to criminals. Because even outside of these walls, there are piles of criminals who are doing heinous things with dismal faces. Why did you do it? Please answer us. Why did you do that? That's obvious. It's because I want to get out of here. Huh? Isn't that obvious? Other than that, there's no other reason to commit a murder. To get out of here and seek my freedom. I wanted to return to my usual daily living. That's why everyone has no choice but to sympathize. It was just a choice of murder as means. OMG? What did you just say? You finally got my plan. I thought it was perfect because I could use Sakane Taida. No! Hatano! What? In the end, you were just the same person as Higa? This is what nature is, after all. Nobody can judge by looks. Now, I must know, the evil face that committed this murder. Oh, you caught me. This is Atano's true nature. She just wanted to get out of here, and for that reason, she killed Tomori? Really? That's all? Something just doesn't feel right. As Kinjo said, I shouldn't judge by appearance. This might be what Atano really looks like, but what is this deep pain in my head? I can't see with my eyes open anymore. Let's just end it. End it? You mean the execution? You were that kind of person? Atano! For what the hell did we do this? Damn it! On who did we trust for? Monokuma, get it started. Now wait a second, can we finish things like this? Can we really send Atano like this? But Maida, look at her. You may be right, but whatever you say to her won't work. Execution. Fortunate for me, it was a waste. Atano, is that really you? Are you saying you were pretending to be a human being? Ah, yes, this is the real me. I thought you guys who were stupid couldn't figure out my tricks, and I guess you weren't so bad after all. What did you say? Hey, please stop, Atano. I don't look at Atano's appearance any more than this. I'll go crazy. Atano, you really don't have regrets? Are you satisfied with your actions? Of course, it's my execution. Come on. If you say regret, I couldn't get out of here. That's all I regret. Lies. What? You wanting to get out of here. It's a lie. What? You think you know me, don't you? It's not a lie. I did murder because I wanted to get out of here. That's all. If you wanted to leave this place, you wouldn't have cut your own leg. What do you mean? Atano did murder. That's correct. But there must have been another reason. You like acting as a villain, but your body is trembling. Atano. Curses. Then the Atano we just saw, she was just acting? You mean she acted crazy on purpose? So then why did she really kill? Kurokawa, I can't. Atano. After saying that, Atano's appearance returned to normal. At that moment, I felt the pain disappearing from my mind and the sense of incongruity just before it was gone. My hands are already dirty, and it might sound like an excuse, but please let me tell you. This is how I committed my murder. I was running down to the second floor corridor at the time of the incident. As you guessed, at the time I saw Akane running somewhere. She was going in such a hurry, I tried to talk, but then I realized that Akane's body was covered in blood. I went to the power room where Akane had came out with no doubt. I found that something had happened inside the switchium. I took a flashlight in a hurry to check the condition inside, and Tomori was dying, and there was a knife stuck in her stomach, as you all said. Then why did you kill her there? You could have thought of a way to call the others and let Tomori live. Because that was not the case. It was not the case? According to the facts I've seen, when I discovered her, Tomori was almost dead. I knew she wasn't dead because she was breathing hard, but that was it. She was already on the brink of death. That was until she got killed by you. I was worried, anxious, and scared. If Tomori died, Akane becomes the killer. It was a scary thought. I wanted to throw that thought away. What? At that time, I really wanted to think about it. That kind of good-natured Akane. Why would she stab Tomori? I learned that it was an accident, though, before the trial, but at the time she had no idea. In my head, I just went like this because I only thought about Akane becoming the black end of this case. I couldn't leave her alone. I couldn't leave my friend alone without knowing everything. Throwing everything away for the sake of survival? Wait a minute, then the reason Atano committed murder was... Ayame-chan... Because of me? To release me from becoming the Blackens? I just couldn't stay put and watch Akane being executed for pretending I didn't see it. I also wanted to call Inori to heal Tomori. But if Tomori's breathing goes out while I go get Inori, then Akane would have been executed without fail due to my mistaken judgment. I couldn't allow that to happen. Then from the very beginning, you were thinking of dying instead of Taira? And that including the cut on her tendon. All of that was to protect Taira? This is the truth. I just couldn't say I didn't know about my friend's crime. A sad tragedy born from friendship. For a while, no one could speak. Inside the courtroom, only Taira's wailing was the only voice ringing in our ears. Was that really the only reason? Yeah. It was a commendable act to lay down one's life for others. It's not possible without some courage. In that aspect, you deserve to be recognized. But if those were the only intentions to do that, it would not have been necessary to go to a trial like this, right? Even if you reveal the facts to everyone except the execution, your intentions do not change. But at the time of the trial, your appearance became as if you looked desperate. Hey, Makaru! If you say anything more to Atano, I won't let it stand. Even if you're a woman. I'm not scared of you, idiot, and shut up. I'm talking with Ayame Atano right now. No, it's okay. Calm down, Kabashikawa. Sure, Makaru, there was something else. What else was there? I didn't tell you this as it would sound like an excuse as I said the first time. As Makaru pointed out, doing this for Akane may have just been a pretext. I'll tell you everything. It can't be said there was no darkness in my heart. Somewhere in my mind, it was like, it's okay because it's for Akane, but there was also the desire to get out from this place. It must have existed in my mind at one point. It did? Oh, but even with your leg like this? This was the meaning of apology to you guys if I succeeded in escaping. And even if my leg is paralyzed, everything is already too late. What are you saying? Motive. The first motive that we got when Maki was murdered. The outside world I saw, there was a terrible world that couldn't even run properly. Huh? How was that possible? So in the end, the initial motive was the driving force too. Other than me, my coworkers and rivals, I can't even walk anymore. But if that's the case, what's the use of getting out of here with my legs fine? What? How did that happen?
Hatano, what happened? I thought that video was just a manipulation. And I thought Hatano would be the first to run non-stop and never be fooled.
I know, but I wanted to check if it was real. Until I saw it with my own eyes, I was nervous. And every day it drove me like crazy. This wasn't recent. From the time Maki, I've been running around in my head. I had nightmares every night, and I was always confused when I was with her. All that can be said of me is the fact that something has gone blank. I wanted to see it. With my own eyes. No one objected to Hatano. The feeling Hatano felt was exactly the same as me, because I still remember my family. And when I was alone, I couldn't stay still because of anxiety. After all, every breath was about the motive again and again. You were vigilant about that new motive, called the secret note, but the motive that I was given the first time, no matter how many new motives came out, it did not disappear. The intense image was clearly stuck in our minds. I understand the feeling, but you were weird. I don't feel a strong will like Mitsuhiro Higa. The desire to go outside. Was it a conflict? Conflict? Will you lose us for the chance to leave outside? Would you accept death for your dear friend Taida? You were in conflict, weren't you, Hatano? It wasn't as big as that, but by the time Maida pointed me as the culprit, I had already given up on escaping. After everything was revealed. But the reason I got ugly and struggled until the end was because of Akane. I was relieved to learn that it was only an accident that Akane stabbed Tomori during the trial because I knew Akane was the way I knew her. Even though, after I was driven as the culprit, Akane tried to deny my crime more severely than me, the culprit, to prevent me from being executed. I am the one that betrayed you all and committed murder. I'm a little happy inside. Like I wanted Akane not to die. She has the same mind too. More than that, how disappointed Akane would be if I admitted the crime. Not to mention Maida and Kinjo couldn't be beaten. Why are you smiling? Huh? Oh, you're angry, Akane. I knew you would be disappointed, but I'm sorry. Why? You did it because of someone like me? How can you laugh like that? How can I laugh? Akane asked something very strange. Thanks to me, Akane is able to survive safely. Is there anything more simple than this? No. Oh, damn it. In the end, I'm just an idiot who, after weighing in between dreams and bonds, I've done things that shouldn't be done. Still, I'm satisfied. I could have saved at least Akane. I feel somewhat relieved. Although my dream ends here, you guys don't make the same mistake like me. Go after the best dreams you believe in. I chose to protect my friend rather than my dream. Now I'll say goodbye to this world. But at least I have no regrets. Don't say goodbye or end it like that. If you make it sound so ominous. That really happens.
It happens even if you don't say that?
Monokuma!
I only understand Hatano's situation, but it's taking too long. Look, if this is a game, you have to think about the person who plays it.
Shut up, Monokuma!
I don't know what Miss Hatano thought and what circumstances caused the murder. The important thing is the result. In the end, the fact that you killed Miss Tomori doesn't change one bit. Murder means the order has been broken. For a Blackened who has broken it, an appropriate punishment is necessary.
Yes, I am to be punished. You take the sin and pay the penalty for it.
Oh, confident attitude. I don't like that. It's different from Higa-kun. But for Miss Hatano and Miss Taida, it's whatever. In the end, the cause was that you wanted to get out, right?
Hey!
Why, Hatano-san, a little while ago, say with her own mouth, she was conflicted. Because she wanted to go out.
Shut up! You were the one who created this whole situation itself. What are you saying?
What am I saying? Are you that stupid? Boo-hoo. If you forget the outside world, this wouldn't happen. You just need to live comfortably here, so if you want to get out, you have to go through a murder case. You should know this already.
Stop spouting your nonsense and go ahead, disgusting bear.
Fine, I won't meddle with you guys anymore. It's also because midnight had already passed, so let's start. The heart-racing punishment time! I prepared a very special punishment for Ayame Hatano, the ultimate sprinter, who is the Blackened of this case.
Everyone, remember to get along.
No! Wait a minute!
Ayame-chan, please wait! Oh, there are so many things I haven't told you! Ayame-chan! Let's go! All out! Ayame-chan, because of me, because of a fool like me, I stabbed someone by accident, and I didn't do any cleanup. I also just bothered you. I made this scene. Don't go. I'm going to die. All I need to do is die. Monokuma, wait! It's punishment time! Akane, I want you to be alive. Live. Wait! Tano was chosen as the Blackened. Time for the punishment. Ultimate Sprinter Dismantling Sports Day. Yahoo! This thrilling feeling of endorphins are rising! It's fantastic profits! Ayame-chan! Ayame-chan! No! It's too much. Flesh, blood, Atano. Oh no, I don't think I can hold that anymore. Atano was executed. So much cruelty, so mercilessly. I found myself closing my mouth to endure the vomit that had reached my throat. For her colleagues and for her best friend, Atano willingly gave up her life. How many people can do that in the world? And that was the kind of person she was. Goodbye, Atano. Evil, ugly, it's not a dream. How long do I have to continue this nightmare? That's up to you guys. It's a nightmare. If you guys forget only the outside world and live in harmony here, you're happy and you don't know what to do? You mentioned this in the first trial as well. Forget the outside world. You keep emphasizing the words. What is the purpose? What's the reason you want from keeping us inside? Ah, if I tell you that, that's a major spoiler. It might transform into a wave of protest. Shut up, you bastard. Why did you do this to us? Why? Tell us the reason. Wouldn't it be desperate to kill each other without knowing that? Wouldn't it be desperate to kill each other without knowing that? Then let's ask something different. The cost of entering an execution of the school is nothing but ordinary. Absolutely impossible. What the hell are you? Where does this organization come from? Things you're curious about, huh? Good. Then would you like a special service? Everything that you see in the school from the beginning was all here. I just modified it a tiny bit. I tried so hard to make you guys feel amazing despair, and you guys ignored my warnings. Truly sad. You're so noisy. What is despair? Is it so fun to play with a person's life? Huh? Do you think I'm just doing this simply to enjoy it? Well, it's true at some point, although I'm actually enjoying it. You guys don't know how important is all of this. No clue at all. What are you talking about?
Nothing you need to know. If you're curious, do your own research and find out. After all, it's written in the school rules investigation is always free to do. Well, this is it. After enjoying a brilliant execution, I woke up because I'm feeling so worked up, but if I don't sleep, it's dangerous because I might sleep all day tomorrow. Of course, everyone did a good job. It seems to be a good despair finale, so at this point, the class trial is over. Good night! After Monokuma disappeared, only Taida's sobbing sound came from the trial grounds. I felt like I would go crazy too. It's an indescribable evil feeling, a feeling of despair beyond reason. It seemed like my body was being crushed by a tremendous pressure. But I cannot give up here. I have to move forward for the sake of our dead friends. Even though I thought in my head, my body wouldn't move nor follow. Can we really get out of here? The second trial is over. 4 people have lost their lives. Who will be next? Is it me? Yame-chan. Taida, calm down. Everyone is sad. It's all because of me. Kizuna-chan died because of me, and Yame-chan also died because of me. That's right, isn't it? All because of me. All because of me. It's all because of me! Reprimanding for yourself. I know all too well that it wasn't because of Taida, but I just couldn't tell her anything. It's hard. It's too hard to put yourself up, but taking care of others would be a real sainthood. All we can do for Taida is to let her cry freely without interruption, to be able to complain with such difficult feelings with tears. It could have been me instead. It's ugly and noisy. What? Yeah, it's all because of you. I know you well enough. If you feel guilty like that, write a will and commit suicide already. Hey, what did you say, Kenjo? Say it again! It's better to get behind a bitch blackened like you. Blackens? Kenjo, are you crazy? Why are you suddenly saying all this stuff? I hate this the most. In my true sense, a blackened is subtly convicted of innocence to avoid the law. Blackened, you mean Taida? Is there anyone else who fits? Stop! This is bullshit! How many times has it been revealed that the stabbing Taida did to Tamori was an accident? Is that really what you say to someone who just lost a friend after their death? An accident? Of course it was. Kizuna Tamori started it all. However, who made the final blows, no matter the pretext, must be punished. The 2 were punished and killed, right? Akane Taida, who is at the heart of the case, more than them, is alive and clean from this. Have you forgotten? Even if this woman had killed Tamori in an accident in the class trial, Akane Taida made a false statement to hide her crimes. What would have happened if we were caught in that lie? Isn't it terrible to imagine? Directly or indirectly, Akane Taida almost put us all at risk. But she couldn't help it, could she? Taida knew she was guilty, and she knew she would be executed if she told the truth. Then she shouldn't have done that in the first place. No matter how much of an accident it was, you think it makes sense to go and wash the blood to destroy evidence as you stab Tamori, a girl who is willing to say that they're innocent? Isn't it normal to at least support Tamori and give her first aid or call Nori as soon as possible? They do have a point. Please think of Taida. The accident may have happened and a rescue might not have occurred because she was in a state of panic. No, I'm confident of this. If Akane Taida was really the Blackened, it's certain for a fact that she would try to trick us with selfish thoughts. Stop talking! Kenjo, you bastard! I'm not gonna tolerate this anymore!
Oi, calm down, Kaba Boxer. Get your fist down, manly boy.
You guys need to look at things objectively. What she did is wrong in every sense. There's still a lot to talk about, but I don't think it's the right time when everyone is on edge and confused as it is now. It's late today, so go to bed. I'll talk with you all tomorrow morning. Hey, wait, dude! If you want to talk to me, then stop! Hey, you bastard! Are you gonna leave us just like that? Hey! Why is Kenjo doing this? That's like Kenjo is creating a separation between us. So what do we do now? Is Taida going to recover? Losing a loved one is a very difficult feeling. That's right! Taida, are you okay? Sorry, I'm 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 sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Taida is all good now.
Let's all rest for today. I don't feel good after a class trial. It's already late, near dawn. Go sleep.
Let's do as Kadokawa suggests. Honestly, I can't afford to think right now. We'll listen to Kenjo tomorrow. Today we're going to sleep. Okay, I feel like the more we do this, the more harder we have to work. Everyone, have a good night. Sleep well. Being in such a situation is unusual in itself, but the current situation was much more than the first trial. Kenjo, who should lead everyone, seems to be getting twisted more and more, and our friends are starting to lose their lives one by one. What can I do at times like these? Play around with everyone and relax while learning about them? Follow my own dreams? Right now, I think it's impossible for anything to happen. I have no more power to think anymore. Let's sleep for today. I returned to my room. When I left the courtroom and returned to my dormitory, I greeted some of my friends and tried to chat a little, but everyone seemed to have no energy. It's no wonder. It only passed 3 or 4 hours before returning to my room, but within those 3 or 4 hours, we lost very precious things. It feels like it's been years, and then the stiff dorm bed that couldn't be comfortable is now feeling better than anything else. Tired. A desperate situation in which we taste the despair of the death of our friends and do not know whether we will be able to stand up. To stand up again. What kind of despair awaits us from tomorrow? No, I don't even think there's hope anywhere. Now I have only passed the second class trial, but this is not the end. The despair surrounding us was approaching, evolving us deeper and deeper. Hey, hello, I don't know if you're comfortable. Don't you feel uncomfortable? Oh, it would be weird if you were tied up in public like this, but if you're comfortable, no way. If it is comfortable, you're a true maso, but you're not, right? Oh well, I came to bring the meal again today. Your appearance is still there, so take good care of your health until then. By the way, who could have thought you would be led like this? I'm really sorry for being like this and having to lock you up. In fact, it would have been nice if I let everyone stay with you too. Your body is one that cannot age, isn't it? Still haughty, huh? I like it. It will be alright when your turn comes. By that time, how many people will survive? Huh? What? I getcha. It's because the woman you love is still alive. There's nothing to worry about. I'll go there then, because if I'm not watching, I don't know what those guys will try to pull, so see you next time! My gosh! I still have to reach a save point. Oh, thank God! Alright, the next... Alright, so the next time I play Danganronpa Another, I'll be starting chapter 3. However, that's not what I'm going to be doing. That's not the recording that I'm going to be doing next. The recording I will be doing next is the second case of Ace Attorney. So see you then.